Hi, this is Nate with Athletes Potential. I want to talk to you a little bit about bone health today. Getting a lot of questions about shin splints or stress reactions, stress fractures. And so in order to understand those, we want to be able to understand how bone works. So if we look at a bone, I'm going to draw my best Fred Flintstone femur here. So there are three main types of cells in bone. We're going to concern ourselves with two of them. So I like to think of them as kind of like a Pac-Man ghost and a Pac-Man. And in this case, we've actually got the good guy over here and the bad guy right here. So the job of the osteoblast is to go along and lay down new bone. And this guy comes up behind him and eats up the old bone. And as long as these two are working in tandem with each other, then you get good, healthy bone. And on our spectrum of activity, where you have too much, or over here where you have not enough, right? If we're putting good stress on our bones, such as resistance training, weightlifting, appropriate running, other good physical activity, we stay in this kind of happy medium here, where he does his job and he does his job, back and forth. They're laying down new bone and eating up the old bone. Where we start to get into trouble is when we're doing a little bit too much activity, and that especially is too much activity incorrectly, such as running. If we're constantly heel striking with running, we're putting way too much stress through the bone. And over time, as the chemical balance in your body changes, it starts to favor this guy a little bit, and he's going to start eating up a little bit too much bone faster than he can keep up. And we'll start to see cracks form in the bone there. And that's what we call a stress fracture, right? The bone isn't broken all the way across, but we have an area of the bone that has started to weaken a little bit. A very common place for that is in the shins. So runners will report some tenderness on the inside of their tibia there. And if you just feel off to the edge there and you feel a tender spot there and then press on it and you kind of jump from that pain, that tells you that there's probably a stress fracture there. Usually takes us about 3 weeks to develop a stress fracture. If you feel that there, the first thing that we want to do is rest it for a few weeks. You can continue active rest, of course. We want to stay in this kind of healthy area of activity. But as we allow the chemical balance in our body to be restored so that he does his job and he does his job, then he's going to come along and he's going to start to patch up that area of bone that's been damaged. And in an x-ray, that'll show up as kind of we call it a callus, a bump on the bone. And then over time, as he's doing his job and he's doing his job back and forth, then that callus will wear down and we'll have just kind of a little bump, a thickening there of the bone. And it'll actually be pretty strong at that point. Then we can gradually return to activity and start to appropriately increase our activity to where our bones can keep up. Now, a lot of us try to increase our bone health by taking calcium supplements, eating a lot of dairy. There's some research out there that supports that. There's more research that doesn't support that. What we do know is that bone reacts to the stress that we put on it. Good stress means good, strong bone. Good stress that allows these two to work like they should equals healthy bone. Green leafy vegetables, of course, will give us some of the calcium that we need. If you are not able to easily identify your stress fracture and resolve it with rest and gradual return to activity, then my suggestion would be to get with a competent physical therapist and have them help you through it. Again, this is Nate talking to you about bone health with Athletes Potential. Thanks for watching.